My name is Tim Ellerby. I work for Michigan United. For the past couple of weeks, I have been in Eastpointe canvassing for ranked choice voting. A canvasser typically goes door to door, and we just talk to the voters, letting the voters know that the ranked choice voting was in effect. We had to explain to the voters exactly what it meant. I would let certain people know that there hadn't been a contested win by an African American in the city. A lot of people didn't know that. Like, in the complete history of Eastpointe, they didn't know that. Hi, I'm with Michigan United, and we're talking to voters about the election next week. In particular, the new voting system, which is called ranked choice voting. And just a little background on that. Eastpointe was sued in 2017 by the Department of Justice.
Protecting the fundamental right to vote for all Americans will remain one of the Justice Department's highest priorities.
Eastpointe was a case that was filed actually in the last days that I was there, so in January of 2017. The investigation started long before then. All of that happened on my watch.
The Department of Justice alleged that the Eastpointe method of elections was discriminatory against the minority population.
The Department of Justice decided that it would get involved and try and see if it could remedy that very real voting rights wrong. Put simply, the minority population in Eastpointe was growing rapidly, but could not break into the city council or the political structure. It used to be East Detroit, and up until the 1990s, it was about 98% white. It was essentially a community founded on white flight from Detroit itself. Eastpointe in particular has a really troubling history of race relations, but I don't want to suggest in any way that that was all of Eastpointe or that all of the residents of Eastpointe shared some of these disturbing values. Instead, Voting Rights Act enforcement and voting rights litigation more generally is based on making sure that the system is responsive to minority communities. And it's not just active racism that causes the system to be unresponsive.
A lot of residents thought that Eastpointe was being picked on by the Department of Justice.
I'm very concerned about the DOJ and what they're trying to do with our little city over here.
They had the Department of Justice come in and tell you that you're violating the Voting Rights Act and that you're doing something wrong. I thought the city has been represented and that everyone on city council really does have all of the residents' best interests.
If we got issues, we can handle them.
They made a segregated city. It's that simple.
And I do know a lot of minorities that live in the city, and none of them have ever really expressed any concern about the voting rights discrimination. So I was extremely shocked.
I welcome them to prove it because I have not seen it.
We have, as it turns out, a strong commitment to majority rule, but an equally strong commitment to minority rights within that system.
Since its initial passage in 1965, the Voting Rights Act has consistently enjoyed broad bipartisan support in Congress, as well as the executive branch.
And one that was procured with not a small share of bloodshed. In 1965, Congress responded to the incredible heroism of advocates, particularly in the South, who put their lives literally on the line for fundamental political change.
Our country has changed for the better since 1965, but the destination that we seek has not yet been reached.
It's not the product of active racism, but it's still something that needs to be fixed. It doesn't actually fit the concept of how we think of representation to let a thin majority or a thin plurality of voters win every single seat all of the time. That leaves a lot of people out. The right time for real meaningful opportunity for minority communities is now, and is always now. Not someday, not someday soon, but now. In fact, the right time is usually yesterday.
When you're less than half the population, you get nothing. But because the Caucasian population is 55%, they kind of run everything. So it's not really a fair and balanced system, which was the reason for the lawsuit in the first place.
The minority population in Eastpointe has grown quickly and dramatically. In 1970, Eastpointe had a total population of about 45,000 people, and 13 of them were black. As the minority population has continued to grow, they still haven't been able to actually elect a candidate of their choice, right? Like it would make sense if the population was the same as in 1970, where only 13 people in the city are black. Those 13 people aren't able to elect a candidate of their choice. But as the minority population has grown to half of the city, but they're still unable to elect the candidates of their choice.
That's not fair. And it doesn't have to be anybody's fault to fix it. The Voting Rights Act steps in and says we can take care of the situations that aren't fair. We don't necessarily have to assign blame.
Want to put it in the door there?
Handle.
All right. I really don't feel overall that the city is racist. I really don't believe that. I've grown up here. Are there some racists in the community? Well, sure. There's racists everywhere. But I don't think it's played in the role of an African American not being able to get elected. Eastpointe is a wonderful community, and its motto is a family town, and it truly is. The candidates in the city council race is an interesting blend of people. And there's Harvey Curley. He was a mayor, he was a councilman, and he's 84 years old. Things have changed considerably since he was a councilman or mayor. Sarah Lucido, she has an advantage because of the incumbency.
My first campaign, I remember that I had no idea what I was doing. Luckily, my neighbor was on city council previous to me, so he was a huge help when it came to planning my campaign. And then there's Mary Rayford Hall. She's so nice, and she works at the schools, and she's very knowledgeable.
Hello. Hi, I'm Mary Hall Rayford. I'm running for city council, hoping to entice you to vote for me tomorrow.
Well, I'm a former public office holder. I'm also a political consultant, and I had reached out to Mary and asked if she needed some help and some input in her campaign, and she said yes, and we met, and we've been fast friends ever since. I think that she would do an excellent job and really give some credence to the term family town in Eastpointe.
I had a chance to talk to a resident yesterday. He said he had an issue that he had sent to council and no one responded. Got a chance to talk to a lot of residents, knocking doors, and found out there are a number of people who had issues, and they thought that they couldn't take them to City Hall themselves. They didn't think anybody would listen. So I decided, well, maybe I could be their voice.
Growing up around Eastpointe, you never really seen nobody that was African-American really live in the suburban area. You just came here to shop, spend money.
Monique Owens was a police officer in Eastpointe, and then at one point she decided that she should apply to be a city council member because there's a vacancy.
When it's not election time and you apply for a council seat, any elected position, you're appointed at that time. I was trying to be appointed, and I tried to do that twice in Eastpointe. And I was always denied, and I never understood why. Most of the people on council already knew half the people who were applying for the job. And so it was already a system created for certain people to already get the job. They think it's normal. They don't think it's racist. So when people said Eastpointe is not doing something right, it's like, oh, we're a tight community, we're doing things. And it may have been that way. It may have felt that way. But on the outside looking in, it wasn't really that way.
The 2017 election in Eastpointe was a little unusual. There were 2 seats up for election, 1 white candidate, and 3 African-American candidates. And so no matter what happened, the white community wasn't going to sweep the elections in Eastpointe. A couple people said, hey, look, an African-American candidate broke through. This shows the system isn't broken.
That doesn't negate the claims of the Section 2 violation. It's not about making sure that, a black candidate wins. It's about making sure that the minority community within that jurisdiction has the ability to elect their candidate of choice.
So when I got elected, a lot of people were happy, but a lot of people were still like, okay, if it was 1 seat, would she still have that chance?
There was a strong divide by a really sizable portion of the Eastpointe population, and that something needed to be done to make sure there was real equitable opportunity. And that's when, frankly, the discussion turned to remedies. How do we fix the problem?
Historically, Section 2 violations have been resolved by creating single-member districts. And one of the things that requires is that the minority communities live what we call compact, like geographically close to each other.
I don't like the situation saying that we're going to create a black ward. I'm an African-American pastor of a predominantly white congregation. The lawsuit bothered me a little bit, especially with what they were proposing. They was proposing to make a black section of Eastpointe, basically. Is it saying that the other wards are all white? Are they saying, do we get a Hispanic ward? Nobody says it that way. Nobody looks at it that way. But all of a sudden, this is where the black people are. Wait a minute. Black people can't live in other places. Black people can't do so. Now, if you give to Eastpointe, you got to go to the black place. It just seemed like we were taking a step back with that type of approach.
The city is 5 square miles, population of maybe 32,000. So we're not big enough to talk about breaking it up into districts.
If we were broken into districts, I feel like we'd be always competing for things in our district because we want to give our voters the best.
James, are you ready for campaigning on Tuesday?
I do understand that, they had their experts come up with a lot of different data and that I respect that. So I was willing to try to work with them to come up with a reasonable solution.
So the sort of thing to remember is that, it's not about there have been no African Americans on city council. It's about making sure that community is able to elect someone, regardless of if the person's white, orange, yellow. It doesn't really matter what the demographics of the person is. It's more about making sure that that community is actually able to elect the candidates of their choice. The thing that really makes Eastpointe special in this case is that this is the first time that the Department of Justice agreed to use ranked choice voting as a remedy to a Section 2 violation, and that has never happened before.
Districts aren't the only option. They're never the only option. Eastpointe shows that it's possible to think a little bit outside of the usual box in order to come up with a system that works fairly for everyone. These sort of alternative systems can be really powerful in ways that allow people to vote throughout the jurisdiction without forcing them to move to a particular part of town that's designated as the place where you get the remedy.
The city would be chopped up into districts unless they came up with something. So they decided to go with ranked choice voting, and the way it works is instead of voting for one candidate and hoping that they win, you can now rank your choices from your first favorite down to your last favorite. And your first favorite has to get 33% of the vote in order to get a seat on the council. If they don't, if they get 30%, then you still have 3 opportunities for your vote to count.
who's your first choice, who's your second choice, who's your third choice, who's your fourth choice. And it turns out that that system, when done right, ranked choice voting, it's a way of sharing power, recognizing majority rule without shutting out the minority community entirely across the board.
Well, if you haven't already voted, please consider ranking me 1 or at least 2 with the ranked choice voting. Did you notice the sign up there on Gratiot and 9?
I did, yes.
I had to go in there and get a little huffy with the people working there.
Good. You got a result.
Because I had been told that I couldn't leave one there, and I'm like, what's the criteria?
Yeah, I see Harvey's got his there, of course.
Oh, he knows a lot of people, and people know him.
Well, that's true, too.
I didn't anticipate all this.
Right.
When I decided to seek that seat, and it's like, what did I get myself into?
Well, like I said, like we've talked, I hope you get there because you got the right attitude about a lot of things.
And if it's a win, it's a win, and if not, it just means I get ready to get busy bugging folks to do the right thing.
Oh, absolutely. But it'll be interesting to see who wins that mayor's job.
Well, I'm really excited about running for mayor.
You guys voting tomorrow? We got election day. This is Monique Owens. She's your first black councilwoman here, and she'll hopefully be our next black mayor, our first black mayor.
The DOJ Section 2 case only applied to the city council elections and not the mayoral race.
Did you know I was running for mayor? Monique Owens? You ain't seen no billboards, no colors, no signs that say Owens everywhere? No African Americans ever ran for mayor in Eastpointe. The mayor part isn't ranked choice voting, and I thought it should have been. You know I'm running for mayor? Monique Owens? You know? Well, tomorrow's election day. I fought for ranked choice voting for mayor too. Let's be proactive, you know? And they said, well, no, we're not gonna do that. It's just a test to see, is it gonna bring more fairness to a city that has racism in the past? So we're gonna see if it's gonna work for the president. And hopefully it will. Hopefully it helps. So you wanna see change in your community, you gotta be a part of it. You can't put everything on me. You gotta help me with it, okay? So come out, vote. It's important. Tell all your friends and family in Eastpointe to vote for me, okay? They say black people, African Americans don't get out and vote locally like they should. They don't think it's as important. Let me test that theory, and let's see who's right.
15337. And I got the literature.
So when elected, I'll be making history, right? Don't forget what? The address. Of course, you're part of it. How you doing, ma'am? Good, I think I seen you the other day.
We're all just trying to not get poisoned by our water and not get robbed on the street, and we're all trying to get to
Everybody wants the same thing, and that's what I want. I was passing out flyers in the neighborhood, going door to door canvassing, and we just walk in and police stopped me and said, what are you doing? I said, passing out flyers. He said, yeah, you can't do that. I said, who told you that? Please don't stop people from, passing out flyers, because we can do that. That's in the charter. And that bothered me because why are you stopping me from doing something that is my right to do? Good afternoon. As a councilwoman, even when I went to go see certain people in different departments, I felt this energy that they didn't want me there, that I shouldn't have been there. It made me really want to read every book that I could find to prove to you I'm the best person for the job. But I felt like, why do I have to read everything, do everything more than anybody? Why do I have to do everything, read more than everybody, do more than anybody, just to prove to you I'm good enough,
I would love to live in a world where we didn't do people that way. The reality is, until people see a need and understand a need for change, they are not going to change. So I really do hope that ranked choice voting works for everyone.
I don't think white people just always vote for white people. I don't think black people don't go out and vote. I don't believe that. I saw certain things like that. I see what people can say, but my hope is that, you know, we can be better.
I think from a campaign stance, having ranked choice voting, it really makes it a friendlier race. You're hoping for the number one vote, but at the same time, a number two or a number three, depending on how many candidates are running, could still positively affect your campaign. Eastpointe is on the forefront of ranked choice voting in the state of Michigan.
So I thank you for speaking with me, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Bye now. Can I just leave this with you then? Okay, great. It explains the ranked choice voting. It's a new voting system. Okay, and you have a great day and thank you for voting. I found it encouraging that most of the people I spoke with wanted something different. They were willing to go out and vote. They realized that things were not to their benefit. They were hopeful that this could make things a little bit more fair than they had been in the past. I'm hopeful that it paid off.
You've done all you can do. What else can you do? Walk up down the street some more? Bang on some more doors? I'm excited, man.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm gonna leave it at that. Because I hate being let down. I hate letting kids down.
Right. Well,
let me put it the way I put it to the students.
Okay, how did you put it?
Because she was upset with her mother saying that she wasn't gonna vote for me. And I said, you know, this is the beauty of democracy. It's choice. We all have a choice.
Yeah.
And when we exercise that choice, this is what makes democracy work. When we get going, everybody benefits.
Everybody benefits. And
so it's not one group that's going to benefit, it's going to be everybody that benefits. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen after tomorrow.
Summer day.
I know it's usually not this warm on election day.
Okay, son, you ready to go vote? Yeah. Okay, let's go. I figured we walk today since it's such a nice day.
It's not nice, it's cold.
It's cold? Oh, okay. You know today they're doing this new thing here.
New thing?
Yep, it's called ranked choice voting.
The Voting Rights Act was designed not only to work on the big races, but the small ones too. Because it turns out the small races aren't small.
Most people come in the evening instead of the morning.
I don't want to lose any votes though.
Yeah.
Even one vote can change an election.
I gotta go around here to go vote. Come on.
It was like 2 people that came at 7:55, and I needed those 2 votes. That's why I didn't leave.
So I'm the 86th person that voted today. So that means in our district, so far at, what time is it? 12:30, only 86 people went out to vote. That's the bad thing about sometimes, like, some people don't think it's important to vote. That's why I want to make sure no matter what election you ever have, whether it's for dog catcher, sheriff, whatever, you always what?
And keeping my hands warm. Your hands cold?
Yeah, I'm putting them in my pocket. I'm even doing fine.
I got some hand warmers. It's for my volunteers, but I gave you some. You're still a kid. So if you need something, let me know. I'm not running against your mom anyway, so.
Thanks for voting. We're trying to stand in the sun. Get a little warmth over here. I would love to see, and I know it's probably won't happen maybe in my lifetime, but I would love to see total equality in every aspect of our living, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But one of the reasons why it won't happen is because people don't want to get involved. Change doesn't happen just because people want it. change happens when people get involved and seek change, make it change.
Council members, my name is Carol Reed, and I'm born and raised in East Detroit, Michigan, and now in Eastpointe.
Madam Mayor, City Council, name's Larry Edwards, Eastpointe residents.
I'm your neighbor. I live in the very first house right here on Evergreen.
I'm a resident of Eastpointe. My name is Janie.
My name is Susan Joss.
Pastor Obella.
Courtney Lewis. I'm a resident of Eastpointe.
I'm Cassandra.
My name is Patricia, and I live in Eastpointe.
My name is Shelby Crook. I'm a 30-year resident.
Good evening, Mary Hall Rayford, Eastpointe resident. I have so much to say, I don't even know where to start.
Sometimes you have to think outside the box. You can't run a city, I think, by only favoring a portion of your citizens. I can see where it's probably time for our country to maybe develop something, at least in certain areas, where there can be a more fair voting system. Maybe we need something different than what we've had before.